And we're live, and oh god, this is the second attempt. Something was happening with StreamYard, which was really annoying. So usually I do these on Thursday, but because I've got open bar tomorrow, critical with the critical drinker. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's apparently he's a big deal, but
Never heard of him. Never
yeah,
heard of
I
him.
haven't either. But we'll see how it goes. But apart from that, welcome you beautiful bastards to my so-called show. And today we will be discussing episode 6 of the Penguin Gold Summit. And before we get into our thoughts, I will go through the plot. So a few months have passed, and it's looking like the tunnels were a good idea. The bliss has grown, and they are actually doing well. And despite running low on generators, because all the rich pricks have them, business is apparently booming. And Sophia has a very shitty mullet haircut for some reason, and likes to indulge in kinky play with Dr. Rush. And it seems like the partnership between Sophie and Val is legit. They've not tried to kill each other yet so far, and they've come close to tracking down Oz's drivers, but always lose them. But they must try to prevent Oz from making a deal with the Triads. Oz, Vic, and Oz's mum are still in that shithole. That looks like Chernobyl's twin replica. Ozzy's mum's dementia is looking worse, and she's complaining about the cold because the power grid has been shut off around the area. Bad news though, as they found out some of the the Triad members have been killed, and it's obviously Sal and Fiona's doing. So Oz has a plan: just flood it and create demand. Later, Victor bumps into Squid, who knows he's part of something and wants in, despite Victor not being very happy about that. Sophia and Sal go through Oz's old place. Sal is pissed he can't find anything, but Sophia finds a picture of his ex Eve. Mother Cop is found freezing cold in the bathtub, and it's looking like her mental condition is deteriorating and wants to be put out of her misery when the time comes. Vic tells Oz about Squid, but Oz is more concerned about his mum's mental health. So Squid reassures Oz it will be taken care of. Sophia's asking around for Eve, and it's looking very futile until Roxy pops up offering to help. Oz threatens a crooked counsellor to get the power back on, and which he obliges. Vic tries to pay off Squid, but Vic gets very pissed off. Squid blackmails him. Vic tries to reason with him, but Squid is a fucking arsehole who likes to throw his weight about, so Vic kills him and runs off. Sophia visits Eve, and they have a nice little conversation, and Eve challenges Sophia on the girl she was alleged to have killed. Sophia tells her it was her father and that Oz was responsible. Sophia looks like she's about to kill Eve, but she spares her. Eve was very willing to die as long as girls didn't get hurt. She then gives up Oz. Oz lets his men know about the plan and they set out to achieve their task. Vic tells Oz he dealt with Squid. Oz consoles him and tells him to get some rest. Hey, blue collar loser, ages. Nice to have you on. And Oz later meets up with the mostly rival gang members, Triad, Sullivans, and despite them being suspicious, he convinces them to join forces in the Bliss operation, as well as taking down Gigante and Maroni. Later, Vic goes to Ozzy's mum's, and the power comes back on. They have a nice little dance, and now Sophia has shown up with a gun. Oh, Jesus, it's to be continued. This suspense is killing me. So, yeah. Before I go to Toxic Sports, I will offer man. Okay. This is still, despite feeling a little rushed with the time skip, it's still a pretty good episode. I just wish we had another episode before this where we saw Oz's operation and setting up the operation develop a bit more. You see the setbacks he has to go through before finally achieving what he needs to achieve, while also having Sophia's relationship with Rush more developed and Sal Maroni's friendship more developed. But it's still not too bad. We are seeing the plot progress a little bit more. We are seeing Oz finally becoming more and more the big boss he hoped to be. He's got a bunch of men willing to lay down their lives for him. Uh, Apparently, who knows? They could be backstabbing assholes too, looking for an opportunity. But so far, he's got men willing to do his bidding, and we also see Vic show that he can be when pushed to the edge, he can actually come through and maybe show he can be a little bit more ruthless. And yes, thank you for the $2. We'll call it a loser. And we are also seeing a more we are seeing Oz become more and more sympathetic, especially during the moments where, with his mum's Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever is getting worse, because yeah, it seems to be an amalgamation of many things that's wrong with it, and it is very heartbreaking to hear that she wants to be put down. And Colin Farrell really fucking sells it in this scene where he's really hesitant about doing it, and Victor gets better as a character, in my opinion. Renzi Felix, if I'm pronouncing his name right, really sells it as a guy who's just killed for the first time, and you can see this. He is now changed. He is no longer that same kid. I mean, we saw the character change a little bit more, but this is where he's really gone down that road. He has crossed that line. I do wish Sal Maroni was a bit more developed here, because he's kind of a bit more irrational when they're looking for Oz's place, and Sophie is the one who's got a head screwed on still. But still, the guy is grieving over the loss of his wife and son. But I don't know, maybe it's because we haven't really got to know Sal Maroni before he was locked up. So it's a look. It has its flaws. I still don't think it tops the first few episodes, but this is still pretty decent, and it still evolves the plot. It still progresses the plot. It still evolves the characters a bit more. I think Sophie is still the same as she was last time. She just has a shitter haircut, and I really don't like that haircut. It's a big nitpick, but that's just me. But apart from that, it's still a pretty good series, and I am still looking forward to what happens at the end, especially on that cliffhanger, because that was
Yeah.
yeah. You need good cliffhangers like that to end an episode. So yeah, that is my thoughts. And Toxic, your thoughts, please.
Yeah, so not too dissimilar to what some of the things that you said here, and not I'm going to try to not repeat myself too much from Nadia's stream the other night where we discussed this episode. But I
Mm.
will say this, as previously stated, back end push episodes, which is what this is, because we've only got like a couple episodes left. You have your season finale and you have your penultimate episode. So that the episode before the penultimate episode, meaning the episode before the last episode, tends to kind of have to carry a big burden. And this one's no different. So you have to do a lot of plot pushing and kind of arrange all the characters in the places that you need them so that they can do what you need them to do for the climax. So in that way, it does suffer a little bit under the weight of that. That being said, I still enjoyed it very much. I thought it was a great episode. Some very, very interesting thing happens. So okay, so I was wrong, or we were wrong. It is only 8 episodes. Thank you, Blue Collar. So they don't. This is the penultimate episode, so they've got to. I wasn't late, for the record. That was something else was going on, Brian. So chill out. Um, so I and thanks for coming, everybody. We do appreciate it. Sorry for the delay on that. There's some technical difficulties, but so in that way, I mean, my point is still valid, which is basically just to say you want to get all these things set up. You're going to have to get them tied off, presumably in the season finale. And I think it's the fact of it kind of crumbling under that weight a little bit. And like I said, regardless, it's still a great episode and a lot of great acting. The haircut didn't bother me too much, although those of us on Nadia's stream that watched the TV show they did a very similar thing with a very cute character and just kind of gave her this butch mullet 1970s looking thing. So, I'm not really sure what to make of that as far as that goes. I was pretty intrigued by the whole, dominatrix sex scene that she had going on with, and I'm not mad at it, that she had going on with Dr. Rush. And I agree with you that they could do more to flesh out Sal's character. I don't see Sal living through end of this season, so it may be a moot point as far as that goes. But yeah, I too liked I liked all the acting in this. I would definitely say it's one that we got to see a lot of the side characters like Vic and Eve shine a little bit more and take a little bit of the spotlight away from Colin Farrell and Christine Milioti, which nothing wrong with that at all. So, and I'm pretty happy with how that went. I do have a couple gripes of this episode, but when we get to the point where you ask me if there's any gripes, that's where I'll bring
Oh, you
them
can
up.
have your gripes now because I think I've got mine out the way anyway.
All
So
right then. I mean, really, at the end of the, I feel like they should have, I feel like they're going to wind up fast tracking the resolution with Oz's mom. I feel like some of the technical stuff was a little ridiculous. So you're going to tell me they were running this multi-million-dollar drug operation off of generators underneath? I mean, come on, man. That's not realistic. Not unless they have some military-grade generators, and they didn't, not from what I saw. So that's a couple little nitpicks. I think the situation with the guy that Vic shot, what's his name? Squid? Or I lost. Okay, so let's assume that the guy's name is Squid. I think that situation with him could have been handled a little better. I would have liked to see a little bit more conflict with what he had to do in order to get rid of Squid. So I think if it was a situation where Squid was, almost maybe not likable, but hey, buddy, I got you. I
no,
can't talk.
sorry, I was trying to get the Penguin images on Internet Movie
You're
Database.
good. You're good.
Yeah,
You're good.
I don't know what's happening. Yeah, carry on.
Okay, so that, like I was saying, the situation with Squid could have been handled better. I mean, I'm glad it had the resolution that it did. I mean, the moment he gets on and starts acting like a douche waffle, you're just like, kill this guy, just kill this guy,
Oh
Vic,
yeah,
please.
I was.
So, but that being said, I think it would have worked better for what they're doing with Vic's character arc if the kid had been somewhat sympathetic. Like if he had come to him saying, "Hey, I got a sick sister. She's got leukemia. That's why I need to get into the game," instead of just making him so unlikable that you're just screaming at the TV or your monitor or whatever you're watching the show on and just saying, "Kill him, kill him, kill him." So I think that could have been done better. I would have written it differently and done it slightly different. I think there was some other talk the other night when we discussed this about how that could have been better. But regardless, it still came off okay, and I don't have a problem. I'm also a little underwhelmed by the development of Dr. Rush. Like we're supposed to believe this
Same
guy's
here.
a major player, and yet all he's done so far is like, you know, follow Sophia around and like be her little fuck toy. So
Yeah, and
like,
he's kind of a hypocrite as well because he seemed like he could be the only good doctor in a place run by corrupt psychotic doctors, and now he's just kind of just enabling her as well. And it's like so he's a hypocrite, isn't he? Really,
mm,
he seems like he could have been had a bit of a moral backbone, but he doesn't seem to.
mhm. Yeah, but I mean, they're small gripes. They're
Mm.
not anything that I don't need to completely have all that stuff fleshed out. And I don't gripe at the show too much. It's definitely something that I definitely appreciated with the whole thing. So all in all, good penultimate episode, as they like to say. It had to carry a lot of weight. A couple more episodes might have been okay for me, but I get what they're trying to do. The time jump didn't bother me. Some of the stuff that happened in the episode, as far as how the plot developed, didn't bother me. But other than that, and that haircut doesn't bother me too much. She's still smoking hot, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah, still goes. I don't know. I think it doesn't ruin her. I just don't like but it's a nitpick. She is still fucking good in it though, and she is she still owns every fucking scene that she's in. And obviously, if Ferrell and or Milioti don't get any nominations, or both don't get any nominations, I will lose hope with humanity. I really will.
Hmm.
But I think I hope Renzi Felix kind of gets something as well. I mean, he's not like the greatest actor, but he is growing on me. He's really growing on me.
Yeah, no, he's good, and he's done what I needed him to do throughout the season, like what we talked about way back in episode 1, a little over a month ago. He's doing what I require of him to be an interesting character, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, and I haven't seen him mark his arm from his kill yet, so maybe he might not be Victor Zaz, or
I don't
maybe he's
think so.
working his way to that. Who knows?
I don't believe that he is, but I mean, I don't think he's going to live past the end of this season.
I'll be very surprised as well. And yeah, I think he is going to play on us because he does generally seem to fucking care about him. He's not tended to care about him the way he did with Sophie. And I was kind of a little skeptical for a while. Is he lying? Is he just kind of using him as a means to an end? But no, he really does seem to have a fondness for him. He really does. I mean, he actually does show some understanding when he says that he took care of Squid, and yeah, he's probably because he's been there himself.
Hmm.
I mean, because
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of half expects him to go, "Hey, what you crying for? You killed a man. Stop being a fucking pussy. Move on." But no, he's very understanding and he's actually very sympathetic.
Well, he is, but I mean that you do realize that that's a game that he's playing. He's
He probably
sympathetic
is, yeah.
to the point that he can keep getting Vic to perform in the way that he needs him to. You know.
Yeah, he could. I mean, but then it's a different game because last time when he fucked up, he was really fucking hard on him, wasn't he? And
Yeah.
saying, "You gotta fucking adapt. You gotta think quick." But
Yeah.
we're gonna
Which he,
see more and more. And I do get what you're saying. I think there because, like I said, I did feel it. It did feel a little bit rushed. I would have preferred maybe one more two or two just to see a little bit more developed with this Bliss plotline, just to, and the
Mhm.
relationship between Sophia and Doctor Rush as well, because it just kind of seems like, oh yeah, he's a fucking sex toy now. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, I mean, you could headcanon a couple months have gone by and it was leading into that direction,
mm.
but yeah, they just jump right into that.
But it still doesn't let. It doesn't. It's still not a letdown. I still like the characters. I still want to see what happens with them. And what how the plot progresses them and all the turmoils they're going to go through later on. Yeah, you can still, even despite its flaws, you can still see people really do fucking care about these characters and really do want to bring us a good, compelling show.
Hmm. Yep.
Uh, but
Don't
I
use
do
my
like this.
government name, blue collar, on YouTube. How dare you?
You'll probably go through a few super chats. Yeah, the mum scenes. How many guys want to be the one to put down their own mum? Yeah, that is fucking harsh. That as well, and it's painful to see a woman that used to be this fucking person with this personality is just becoming this former shell of her former self, and I've seen it happen. It's not nice. It is really not nice, and it actually did get to me a couple of times.
Hmm.
And yeah, because even though Ozzy's just a two-faced fucking asshole, and I kind of ended up hating him a little bit. He's this is one of the few scenes where I do generally feel fucking sorry for him.
No, I definitely, yeah, I feel that for sure, for sure.
But I'm really hoping we see Victor become a bit more psychotic later on because maybe he gets some kind of shell shock PTSD or something, and maybe he develops a bit of a taste for it than he thought he would.
Yeah.
He loses his innocence.
I think it's more likely that we're going to get a situation in which it's going to escalate and Oz is going to ask him to do something that he is not willing or capable to do. Well, maybe capable, but not willing to do with his moral compass. And he's going to have to, draw that line. And I think that's what's going to lead to his downfall. That's what I think.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think there's anything else I can really go on, to be honest. It seems because, like I said, it does seem like it has been rushed a tiny little bit. Like they probably did have some stuff for a couple of more episodes and sort of had to condense it a little bit. But I don't know if Oz. I think Oz is definitely playing the rival gangs as well. He's probably going to end up finding a way to fuck them over as well because he needs the triads really more than ever, even though he's doing pretty well. But with the triads, his business can really fucking expand. He can really go more places. So he's obviously
Mhm.
trying to work his way in there, and it's still fascinating to watch. Watching him, try and take control of the situation, even with people who kind of know what a two-faced bastard he is.
Mhm.
But yeah, but do you think some of the gang members that he's aligning with will probably kill him? Though they're probably just playing along as well, just to see what they can get out of him. It's I don't think we'll
It's hard
find
to
out
say at this
better.
point. I envision the end of this season with him fully embracing the Penguin moniker. Like he'll have the tuxedo, he'll have the maybe not the monocle eyepiece, but he might wind up changing his name. That's what I see, and that's after he loses everything. That's my uh, yeah.
I know, 'cause yeah, and like I said, there's I don't think there's much to go on there at the moment. It's because there has been a. It's weird because there is a lot that has been packed into this episode. I mean, Sophie hasn't really evolved as much here as she has with the other episodes. I don't think she has anyway, because as we saw the other episodes, we start to see her sort of like be a bit more playing with the family before eventually killing them all, and finally taking some control and using VT to get some more connections before disposing of him. And after
Hmm.
this, it doesn't seem like she's got more to do, but she is still fascinating. She's still got that perception where she can smell bullshit. And I really did like that scene with Eve where Eve confronts her saying, all the girls that she allegedly killed. I mean, don't those names mean anything to you? And you can really, and I love the look on Sophia's face when she says all this, because she's like, Jesus Christ, do you really fucking believe that shit?
Hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's one of those things where I think that was like the best thing that I watched in it. I liked everything that
Yeah.
Eve had to say. I liked the fact that she basically knew that she was playing with her life right there. You know, she tried to play it off like it was cool and she was too cool for school, but like you could see it on her face both when she turns away from her and she walks down the hallway to the very end of it when she kind of breaks down a little bit after she realizes that she just barely made it out of that. So yeah, that was definitely
Yeah.
the best interaction in the show. I mean, you had two people kind of playing with lives. You had her saving her life and potentially the lives of her girls, and then you had Vic taking a life for the first time. So I like the juxtaposition between the two.
Yeah, because fucking up, because and it's very obvious as well. You kind of don't blame her for giving Oz up, because she cared for these girls, and Oz was aiding and abetting their fucking murders. This guy who's supposed to care for her.
Hmm.
But yeah, so he's just unintentionally made more enemies here as well. It's from his past. But I'll give credit to Eve though. She was willing to fucking die just to protect her girl. It's fucking. I mean, I think he was very good. Oh yeah, hey Tony K, how you doing, man? Oh yeah, thanks for the $2, man. Okay, well
Oh,
welcome.
he's yelling at me because I haven't done the trainer review yet. I will get
Yeah.
to it, Anthony. You have my word. I promise you. I will get to it.
Yeah, you had to pay good money. You had to pay a good $2 to shout at you to get the trainer
Get
on.
to shout at me. Why are you on all these? Why are you all on all these Penguin streams and other stuff going on? And I don't see you reviewing the movie I sent you the link to. I'm gonna get to it, Anthony. I'm still taking notes. I've got to rewatch it. I will get to it. You have my word before the first for sure. So
Yeah. And I don't think, like I said, I don't think I can go on that more, because I think I'm just going to repeat myself. So is that really
If I
what I'm
could, you know,
Yeah.
I really, if I could extrapolate a little bit, at the end of the day, I don't know who to believe with what. We went over like IMDb, and they were saying certain people weren't going to be in the next episode, and some people are saying that yes, they will, and they've been wrong before. Some people are going to be in the movie. I mean, let me ask you this: to the best of your knowledge, does this season end, and then we go into Batman 2? The Batman Matt Reeves movie, and then another season of Penguin, if there is another season of Penguin, or is it another season of Penguin and then Batman? Do you
I'm
know?
guessing it's the Batman 2 after this, but I have been hearing rumors that they are thinking of doing another season of this. So who knows?
Hmm.
I kind of don't want to see another season. I think
Really?
yeah, even though it's even though it's uh, even though it's kind of going down a little bit in the second half, it's still a very strong season, and I think it should end while it's strong. Because I don't know where else they can go with the second season. I really don't.
I mean, I guess it would greatly depend on what happens in the next Batman movie. No.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they've got some good ideas, but
Yeah.
half the time, less is more. Less is more. Sometimes
I mean, I
it's
would. I at this point, I would watch Sophia read the menu at Waffle House to me.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I would watch Christine Milotti do anything at this point. She has sold me. I was already
Oh
sold on
yeah.
Colin Farrell as far as that goes, and I think you were too. So I mean, that wasn't a big deal. I also, like I said, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the actor's name that plays Vic. I'm not even going to attempt that. But I thought he did a great job. He did exactly what
He
I
is.
wanted him to do. I'm going to be sad if I'm right and he gets killed off in the next episode. I don't see Sal making it through the next episode, although
Oh, he won't.
technically,
He fucking won't. I know he's gonna die.
well,
I think Sal
technically
Maroni eventually dies anyway in the comics, so
he
who
does,
knows?
but
Yeah.
before he dies, he's supposed to throw the acid at Two-Face, and that hasn't happened.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So there must be, unless they change it. I mean, in the
I mean, which
fucking
they
yeah.
could certainly change it, but as far as
I
that, but
mean,
yeah,
yeah, because the animated series had Rupert Thorne disfigure Harvey Dent, and the Dark Knight had Joker doing it. So who knows? Like, it will probably be someone else if Harvey Dent
yeah, good
does end
point,
up in this universe.
good point.
Mm. I had something else to say. Fucking forgotten it. But yeah, Renzi Felix. I think that is his name because he really is. Really, he is. I think he might be my favorite character in this episode a little bit more now as well because apart from the other two, obviously, I'm just trying not to be too obvious here, but he's really showing out this kid who has this who's lost a fucking lot that's dear to him, and he's mentally traumatized, and he's kind of started off a little bit innocent, and he's really losing that innocence now, and he's
Hmm.
he kind of I kind of worry for him now. I am really worried for this kid.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I just. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe they're planning on. For all intent, maybe they will turn him into Victor Zaz. I don't think that's a
Mm.
good idea, but I mean, you know, uh, they've not made a wrong step with this show so far. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what I don't often do. I'm going to go ahead and just assume that it's going to all come to plan. That's what I'm just going to assume that they're going to do it right and it's going to be okay. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
So.
I have a feeling even if the final isn't as fulfilling, I think it's still going to be a pretty decent end to the series. That's what I'm guessing. Because we've seen a lot of fucking bad season finals, and I have a feeling that this might at least be half decent. But it's still a very strong show, and I think even by the time this is ending, it's going to be on my top 5 TV shows of this year. Because there's no doubt, and because it's very
Yeah.
unexpectedly been a it's very unexpectedly had some quality that no one was expecting. I mean, yeah, good on the fucking writers of this show. I mean, good on Warner Brothers for allowing this. For once, I'm praising Warner Brothers here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm very happy. I have no real complaints. I mean, a couple
Mm.
little nitpicks on this particular episode, and I may or may
Mm.
not have had some nitpicks along the way, but unless they really tank the season finale like they did with House of the Dragon, I don't think there's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I do agree with Bluey because there is a lot of changes here. So who knows? Maybe it's not going to because it is definitely taking a lot of liberties with the comics. It's but not totally straying too far. It's and I think that's what a good adaptation of a comic should do. It should draw from the source material but still be its own thing. And this is doing a very good job of balancing both those things.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I think I've already established my favorite character. So what about your favorite character of this episode then?
Eve all the way.
Eve. Oh yeah, yeah. She's. I'll give credit though. Even when she's not done up, she still looks kind of hot. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
she's
lie.
not bad. Yeah, not bad.
She's
Not
a
bad.
good-looking woman.
I throw a shot into her for sure.
So yeah, I've already said Victor because I don't think I've said Victor enough. And after that, favorite moment. I think I'll let you. I don't think I'll mention the Eve scene because I think you've mentioned that already, and I think is that your favorite one?
Um Hmm.
If not, then because I think I will go with the scene with Oz and his mum and that she wants to be put down before it gets to the point where
Mm,
she cannot take care of herself at all.
mm,
It's one of the few things that's really fucking heartbreaking to see. It's very real and it's very honest, and it's kind of it does kind of remind me of family members who have gone through that, and
mhm.
I'll give it some praise as well, and it does make you feel bad for a guy who's a total scumbag, and that's why I like this show, to make you not sympathise with someone who's a scumbag, but at least see some kind of humanity in him. Just
Mhm.
a sad that we all have to go through occasion one day. So I'll go through that. The favorite line probably is, and I think you've mentioned it as well. I will go through it because it's the only line I thought that was good. In that is, Oz has no friends. That's his best asset.
Yeah, that was a great line.
Yeah, it's the
But
only
the
line I can
scene,
think of. So
but
yeah, I will go with you on that.
yeah, but the scene itself is not,
Mm.
you know, like it makes Sal kind of look like he's step and fetch it a little bit for her. Like,
Yeah, no, practice your swing. I mean, that's you're supposed to be a big fucking mafia boss. It's and it does look like he's not a guy who's got any power or control anymore. It's kind of
yeah, it
sad to
doesn't
see.
look good. It doesn't look good at all.
I know, and
Um,
it's a shame because it's Clancy Brown as well. Clancy Brown,
yeah,
who's the fucking Cajun in Highlander, the fucking prison guard in Shawshank Redemption. He's a
yeah,
good actor, and he can play a really good mean bastard when he wants to be. But
yeah,
that's mostly what he has played.
yeah. Yeah, no, I do like the Eve scene, but if I'm like the scene more from the point of view, like watching her kind of
Mm,
pull an Oz and talk her way out of that situation, because I do believe that Sophia had every intention of killing her going over there. I mean,
mm,
certainly to get the information she wanted first, but had no qualms whatsoever about taking her out. And I think that that was very like dense with tension during that scene. But I looking at it, I like the way that Christine Milotti acted. This is something me and Blue Collar
yeah,
have talked about many times. When an actor or actress can do so much without really saying much or anything at all, like the way that she looks at her, like she looks like she's. I would not want to be in a situation where I have lied, cheated, or stolen from Sophia, because I would not want
yeah,
her looking at me with those big crazy Italian eyes, and just like she looks like she's worming her way into your brain to pick
yeah.
at
No,
your
yeah, like you
secrets.
said, the Anton Chigurh look, like you mentioned
Yeah.
before.
Like no, like her bullshit detector is so good. It's really off the charts. And she's no longer hampered as she was earlier in the season, trying to display any form of normalcy and act like she's uh, not that she was
Mm,
hyper in control at the beginning of the season, but she did worry that people thought she was crazy, and she worried that she thought herself crazy.
mm,
But now she seems to not be encumbered by that at all. She's like totally like, okay, you wanted a sociopath, you wanted a monster, here it
yeah.
is. Monster's here now. So,
Yeah, I think there was one thing I mentioned there. I think I might take back my comment about Sophia kind of being the same. I think mentioning this scene with Eve. I think she might have shown a little bit more development in that scene where Eve is begging her not to kill her girls, and I think that might have stopped her from might have talked her out of killing Eve, because she is willing to die for people who work for her and not fuck them over. So I
mhm,
think that might have convinced her to spare Eve.
mhm, yeah,
But that's my opinion on it anyway. But that's what I like about shows like this as well. They just give you information without saying anything and let you come to your conclusions. Might
mhm,
not be the right conclusion, but that's the conclusion I came to. And if anyone thinks differently, let me know. I'm all for listening to another opinion.
yeah. All right. Yeah.
So yeah,
Anything else?
I think we'll just go for a final rating. Then we've been on for a good half an hour, and yeah, it has its problems, but I still think it's a solid 4 out of 5. I mean, what's your rating then?
Yeah, solid 4. Solid 4 out of 5 for a show that's consistently a 5. I mean, that's pretty low. I mean, it gets
Mm,
up to a 4. I mean, the plot heavy stuff. I mean, listen, there's no getting. Look, you got to have that in order for
mm.
the final push to happen. So I get it, and I'm very sympathetic to it. And shout out to Passion of the Nerd that does his Whedonverse reviews for hipping me to that kind of contrivance that happens with TV shows, how the back end has to propel the climax. So yeah, I'm very sympathetic to that, and I think everything that was done just really knocked it out of the park. I would have rated it higher had she been nude in the sex scene and we got to see a little bit
Oh,
more. I would
definitely. And
definitely
have
would have
some
got
balls in her mouth, like she did in the Centani episode.
sure, 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 sure.
Yeah.
And she's not afraid to do that because I saw a movie where she does some pretty graphic sex scenes. So
Oh, yeah.
and full nudity. So, if you're listening, if this gets back to you, Christine Milotti, and with all respectfulness, I want to see your goodies. I want to see it, and I want to see you. I want to see bad stuff happen to you, sex wise. Like that's something I'm definitely interested in. So, with all
I'm going to
respect,
put a
with all
call in
respect.
right now. Who wants to see Sophia's goodies? Let us know before the stream
Oh yeah,
ends.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Put
So
a
yeah,
put a put a
sorry,
10
mate.
in the
Keep
chat.
continue.
Put a 10 in the chat if you want to see her goodies. Put a one if you don't.
Yeah, because I always thought she was I always thought she was cute looking, but this really fucking made her. This really raised the score with her, though. It really did. So yeah, pretty decent episode. Yeah, it probably did feel a little bit rushed. It probably could have had an episode or two just to sort of like develop it out a bit more, but it's still a very strong show. I will still happily recommend watching it, and hopefully the final two will not let us down. So yeah. So before we go, do you want to plug anything toxic?
Yeah, if I could, if you guys get over to oh God, what is it? The Up All Night podcast. It's one of the alternate channels for Nadia. If you guys want to get over to that, I did a review of this where we extrapolate a little bit more. We spent like a couple hours on it, and I just did another Consider the Source yesterday. Well said, Anthony. I just did another Consider the Source yesterday where I talked about the third in my Stephen King novels turned into adaptations, and I spoke about Shawshank Redemption. So if you want to tune into that, I have one more to do, which is something that it's going to be a little different, where I just talk about it. I'll have that probably tomorrow, where I just talk about one that I want them to adapt, called Joyland. Dudicus and I have another episode out of Highlander. We only did one episode as opposed to two because of time constraints on I believe Monday or Tuesday. I believe, yeah, Monday. And that's out on my channel. And I will be posting a schedule for the rest of the Highlanders because a couple people have asked me about that. And yeah, no. And plug away, my friend, plug away.
Yes. I also just came up with a good idea because I think it's going to be way in the future, but since I've started getting the hang of this a little bit more, I was thinking, and since we didn't do Get Shorty together on my Bastards breakdowns, I think I think it's the 30th anniversary of Get Shorty sometime next year. I'll look at the date,
Okay.
and if you want, we'll try and do a rewatch. It'll mean me putting a fucking overlay to cover up the screen, and
Mm.
but who knows? We could do a little commentary on it. Commentary, watch the film and commentate on the movie
Yeah.
because I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm
Sure.
thinking of doing something like that as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That works
be
for me, bud.
different. Yeah. So yeah. And so before I go, I'll do a little bit of fucking self promotion since it's my channel and I have to. I'll be on the Critical Drinkers Open Bar tomorrow at 9. I don't know if it's going to be a big stream where with rotating guests, so who knows? I might end up popping on later, depending. But I'll be in the green room at 9 anyway. So. And Friday will be me and the League of the Retro Spider-Man Bastards. We'll be talking about Halloween because since we couldn't do it last week because Paul recommended we do it and he was working on that day, I've had to delay it. So we will be doing Halloween the day after Halloween night. So yeah, it's a
No,
bit related,
nothing
but
wrong
still
with
good
that.
though. Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah. So I hope you join us then, and I will be back on the Outcast Creative channel around about 8 to discuss the Shield is it episodes 11 and 12 with you, Toxic?
Yes, I forgot about that one. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, we will
Yeah.
be talking. That's the penultimate episode and the season finale of season 1 of The Shield. Yes, that's correct.
Yes. Yes. And 12 o'clock at midnight tomorrow. My last Halloween review, The Horror of Northern English Bastard, will be Hocus Pocus, the very campy 1993 Halloween classic, if I use the term loosely. People seem to
Mm,
really like it. People seem to really hate it, but that's why I chose to review it, because it definitely
yeah,
has people divided, and it always
polarized.
gives me good material. Movies that have people divided, there's always something you can find to have a laugh about with. So,
Yeah.
and so apart from that, that is it for now. So, whether you beautiful bastards are Northern English or not, thanks for watching. And do remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that bell in order to be notified. And if you wish to further support this channel, links will be in the description below. But right now, that's me done. And I'm off to the pub. And so is Toxic. Thank
Cheers.
you for joining us, Tony K, Aegis, and Blue Collar. And yes, and thank you and good night.